Hello and welcome to The Budget Mouse, a podcast that will help you have an incredible Walt Disney World vacation even if you're on a shoestring budget. This week I'm sharing a compilation of my nightly trip reports during my September trip to Walt Disney World. Welcome again, everyone, to episode 20. I'm Leah, the blogger behind The Budget Mouse. I visit Disney World several times each year, and I'm not rich. I just have tons of tricks for doing Disney on the cheap. I want you to have the incredible vacation you deserve, so I'm sharing all of my tricks with you on my site and here in the podcast. This week's show is all about my recent trip to Walt Disney World, so let's get to it. Returned yesterday from what was supposed to be a 4-night stay at Walt Disney World, but thanks to Hurricane Florence, it turned into a 9-night stay, which is a new record for my longest stay at Walt Disney World. So I had a chance to put my money-saving skills to the test in real time at Walt Disney World, and wow, do I share a lot of tips for staying at Disney World on the cheap in this episode. So before I get to the nightly trip reports from this recent trip, I get to thank a new patron of the Budget Mouse this week. So big thanks to Caroline, who is now supporting the show and the blog on Patreon. I share special patrons-only content over on my Patreon page, and you can help keep the show ad-free and get access to special blog posts and videos when you become a patron of the show, and it starts at only $2 a month. So you can check it out at patreon.com, that's patreon.com/thebudgetmouse. I also want to thank Annie, who shared about the podcast on Facebook this week, and the Tootie Bop Thread Shop. You heard that right. Who shared that she was enjoying the podcast on Instagram. So thank you so much for spreading the word about the show. Word of mouth is still the way most people learn about new podcasts. So again, thank you so much for recommending the Budget Mouse to your friends and followers. So last, before the nightly trip reports, I want to make a correction. I mentioned the minivan in one of these installments, and I mentioned that it's a fixed price to go anywhere on Walt Disney World property. So that is no longer true. It is now priced by the distance of the trip. And this is a 6-passenger minivan that is painted like Minnie Mouse. They're very cute and whimsical. And you can get an estimate for that trip on the Lyft app. I believe you can get an estimate in the app. If not, you can get an estimate on the Lyft site. I believe that works for minivans. So that is only available at Disney World Resort hotels, all the hotels now, to anywhere on Disney property. And after the reports, I'm going to share a few more details about the trip, including how Disney made it right for us when we got locked out of our rooms due to Magic Band malfunctions, and it was pretty amazing. It did make the trip a lot more affordable. So here are the nightly reports. Hello, it is Saturday, September 8th, and this is the first of my nightly trip reports from my September trip to Walt Disney World. So today was a travel day, and we flew from Raleigh to Orlando. We arrived about 9:30, and we flew on points on Southwest and had a great flight. And the Southwest Rapid Rewards Visa card remains one of my favorite ways to get to and from Orlando on the cheap with the points. So highly recommend it. You can check it out on the blog. I want to say hi to Nikki, who we sat next to on the plane, who she and her family were going on their 4th Disney cruise, and she was very enjoyable to sit next to on the plane. So hi, Nikki, if you end up listening. So once we arrived, we met my dad at the airport, and he had come from Boston this morning on a flight. My sister and her young daughter, who is about to turn 1, came on another flight from Ohio this morning, and they arrived about an hour later. So we gathered up my dad, and I was traveling with my daughter, who's 5, and myself, and we got on the Magical Express and got here to All-Star Movies at about 10:30, so it was a good experience. Actually, no, that's not right, about 11. It was a good experience on the Magical Express overall. and we had done online check-in. So something interesting happened that I thought I should share about was that I got a notification pretty soon after we got here that our room was ready, and I decided to go and check it out. So we are traveling on 2 separate reservations, and I had faxed a room request into Disney earlier this week to ask that the reservations be linked and that we could have connecting rooms if possible and renovated rooms, and I will speak to that in a minute. But when I went to check on the room that we were assigned, I discovered that it was not a connecting room at all. So I went right to the front desk and had a wonderful cast member, thank you Taylor, help us sort everything out. So she was able to go in the system and link the reservations. So I don't know if my fax request didn't go through, but they were not linked in the system. She was able to link them and then talk to someone who could assign the rooms and actually have us switched to a different room that were connecting rooms, and I didn't know at the time if they would be renovated or refurbished rooms or not. So that was wonderful. She also fixed a few issues we had on the reservation. So she said they weren't ready yet, that we'd have to wait. So I said, that's fine. I'm happy to wait as long as they're connecting rooms, because we have the 2 little kids and we wanted to have the extra space to go into the other room at night after the kids fell asleep. So my sister then arrived soon after. We ate lunch here at All Star Movies. We swam at the pool for a few hours and then got a notification via text message, which I signed up for ahead of time, that our room was ready. And so we were pleased to discover that we were in building 10, which is in the Toy Story section at All Star Movies. We did book preferred rooms, and preferred location at All Star Movies are many buildings, but they're the buildings closest to the pool and the main building where the food court is. So we made it to our rooms to discover they were renovated, and they were incredible. So I already posted some pictures on the Budget Mouse Facebook group of pictures of the refurbished rooms because they are spectacular. They really exceeded what I thought, and I had pretty high expectations for them. Anyway, you'll have to head there to check them out. But in short, the carpets are gone. There are hardwood floors now. There's 2 queen beds, and they used to be full-size beds. And one of the queen beds folds up into a Murphy bed, so it stores kind of in the wall, and there's a table and chairs during the day. There are many other improvements. I mean, it's basically a brand spanking new room, and it's wonderful, especially for what we paid. So I did get my room with a promo code through Travelocity when they had a really good 20% off one-day promo code that I did actually share, I believe, in the Facebook group there. And I snagged this room. So we got 3 nights in a preferred room here at All Star Movies Resort for $313, including tax. So before tax, about in the low 90s, which for this room is such a ridiculous deal. The room is great. So I'm pleased with that. We did get a dining plan in the other room. So the room is in my dad's name, the connecting room, and everyone else is on that reservation. On that reservation except me in the other room, and they all have a quick service dining plan. And we actually booked that with Sierra, who is our travel agent on the blog, and she's with Destinations in Florida, and she hooked us up with this dining plan. So normally you would have to have a package that included tickets to have a dining plan, but I read somewhere recently that you could actually book a room reservation with a dining plan and you didn't have to have park tickets. So she was able to do that for us, and I believe you're able to call Disney directly and do that as well. But she did that for us. So we got the quick service dining plan for 3 nights. We used the plan for lunch today and dinner. And I was actually able to use some of my dad's credits, because now with the dining plan you can share credits with people who are not on the plan. So I did throw my dad some money and we were able to use a few of his credits. So tonight we went over to Disney Springs. We took the bus and we ate at the Polite Pig at Disney Springs, which I had eaten at in February and actually put a review of it up on the blog on thebudgetmouse.com. And it was even better tonight. So sometimes when a new place opens, it'll be really good at first, and then the quality will slip. But I'm happy to report that it has done nothing but improve over there. It is one quick service credit on the dining plan, but it is a crazy good value. I had a brisket dinner that included a generous serving of smoked brisket. I had a side of Brussels sprouts and coleslaw and a little corn muffin, and then on the dining plan you also get an alcoholic beverage if you would like. So I got a Moscow Mule, and I think out of pocket it would have been over $30, and I got it as a quick service credit. So it was a great deal, and everyone was happy with their food there, and they were really glad that we went. My sister got a cedar plank salmon, and I tasted some of it. It was outrageously good. So happy to report the polite pig is performing. Sorry, it's no pun intended. So tomorrow we're going to have a pretty relaxed day. I am going to attempt a birthday surprise for my sister, whose birthday is later this month, and it's a special thing that I've never done at Disney World. So I will let you know how it went tomorrow, and I don't know what we're going to do for dinner tomorrow, and I will let you know how it goes on tomorrow's update. Hey everyone, it is Sunday, September 9th, and this is day 2 of my September trip report. I'm sitting outside of my room here at All Star Movies, and I'm sorry about all the background noise. There's still a lot of activity here, even though it is 9 o'clock. And today was a very fun day. It was pretty relaxed. We're gearing up for Food and Wine Festival tomorrow, so I'm going straight to bed after this, trying to get lots of sleep. So today my dad actually went over to Animal Kingdom Park, and he had not been in years, so he had not seen Pandora yet. So he left here at 8 o'clock. He caught the bus and went over there, and I had given him a heads up that the park would likely open early. The posted opening time was 9, and he got there about 8:30, and they were already letting people in. So he went right in, went right back to Pandora, and was getting on Flight of Passage before 8:40. So just a tip, if you're going soon, that they are still opening Animal Kingdom before the posted opening time, and you'll be able to get in before that, so just plan accordingly. He did Flight of Passage and loved it, of course. It's amazing. And then he had a fast pass for the Navi River journey and went on and did the safari and rode Expedition Everest before he came back here to the hotel. Now my sister and I and the kids swam in the morning and went over to Wilderness Lodge. We took an Uber over there, and we had to get an Uber with a car seat, and it was the first time I had done that. So apparently Lyft cannot guarantee a car seat. You may get a Lyft with a car seat, but that is not guaranteed. But Uber does have a class of Uber where you can be guaranteed a car seat. So we did that. And to get to Wilderness Lodge, it was about $15 because they do an upcharge for the car seat. And it was worth it for the amount of time that we saved, other than, going on Disney transportation. But just be aware that that is an issue. Now, minivan is run through Lyft, and they have 2 car seats in the minivans, and that is $25 to go anywhere on Disney property, but I believe the minivans seat up to 6 people. So that's a great option for a bigger group, and especially since the minivans will drop you off right at the Magic Kingdom bus loop, and Uber and Lyft normally drop you off at the Transportation and Ticket Center. So if you're wondering at all about minivan, I'd suggest using it probably only in that situation if you are traveling with a group of 6 or more than 4 people, or actually more than 3 people, and want to go to Magic Kingdom. It's a great option for that. So we went to Wilderness Lodge. My sister had never been there, so we went to check it out, and also to have lunch at Geyser Point. So it is a fairly new restaurant in the last 2 years. It's opened, and it's down by the water at Wilderness Lodge, and it is little known that it is on the quick service dining plan, even though you actually get table service there. So we went up, and I talked to the guy. I always kind of play dumb when I'm on the dining plan and just let them tell me what all I can get with it, and that's generally good advice because you can probably get more than you would assume. So I said, we're on the quick service plan, how does this work? And he said, well, you can sit at a table here and be waited on, even though it's a quick service plan. And he said it's a secret that you can do that. And I'm like, well, it won't be any more because I'm gonna tell everyone. And sometimes I wonder if I should tell when I find something that's such a great deal and so great. I said, should I tell? And I'm going to tell you, I always do. So you can rest assured, I never keep things like this to myself. So we were able to sit and have a server come and take our orders. We were able to get with the quick service plan anything on their specialty beverage menu, so all of their fancy cocktails and everything we could get on the dining plan. So we both indulged in one, and I'll be posting those on Instagram because they were quite lovely. And then I had a crab cake sandwich that was excellent, and my sister had a bison burger. It was great. So highly recommended. We did tip the server standard 20% tip for waiting on us, but we were able to use a quick service credit on the dining plan there. So take that advice and run with it. So to get back from Wilderness Lodge, we decided to have a little adventure, and we took the boat from Wilderness Lodge to the Magic Kingdom and then the bus back from there. And we did have to wait quite a long time for the boat from Wilderness Lodge. And I had done that once before and had really quick experience, but everything just seemed to take forever. So it ended up taking a solid hour to get back, and we were kind of wishing we had Ubered back, but it was free and it was an adventure. So there's always that. And that was really about it for today. We kind of hung around the resort for the rest of the day. We ate over at All Star Music. So when you're staying at any of the All Star resorts, you can walk among all three of them. You can actually use the pool at all three of them, no matter where you're staying. So a lot of people don't know that. You can easily walk to and from. You can eat at the other food courts here. And the menu looked really good over at All Star Music, which is the next resort over. It took us less than 10 minutes to walk there. It's a really close walk from All Star Movies. So if you're ever staying at All Star Movies and want more variety in the food court, take 5 minutes and walk over to All Star Music, and you'll have double the choices there. So it was really a good meal there. And then we came back and we're, like I said, headed to bed early tonight. So I will talk to you next after our day at Food and Wine Festival tomorrow. Hey everyone, it is Monday. This is day 3 of my September trip to Walt Disney World, and I am really tired. I'm having trouble even composing my thoughts. We were at Epcot all day today. We got there about 8:45 this morning, and they let us in the park at 5 till 9. So I was there with my dad, and we were primarily going to Food and Wine Festival, though we did do a few attractions. So we went straight to Soarin', and that was wonderful, of course. After that, we went and did Test Track with the single rider line. So it's one of the few attractions where there's a separate entrance and line for a single rider. That just means that you're willing to have your party separated to go on the attraction. Now it ended up that we weren't. I was just sitting in the front part of the car and he was in the back part of the car, but we were in the same car to go. And the standby wait was 50 minutes, and we walked right on, literally, like did not stop and just walked right on the attraction. And my dad was completely amazed at that, with no fast pass, but still taking advantage of single rider lines. So that's always a good trick to have in your back pocket if you're traveling with someone where you could do that. We then went and did Spaceship Earth, with a quick stop to the Shimmering Sips Mimosa Bar at the Festival Welcome Center, which I had to check out for research purposes, of course. And I had a tropical mimosa, which was good, not outstanding or anything, but that does open at 9 a.m. every day. So if you want to get your Food and Wine Festival game on early, you can always make a stop there. But we went and did Spaceship Earth and then headed over to the festival. So I'm going to do a whole show on Food and Wine Festival, and I attempted to record a bunch at the festival and discovered tonight, to my dismay, and that's putting it mildly, that I had lost the audio that I had recorded with my dad at Food and Wine Festival. So I have some clips from the end of the day, but I lost the best stuff. So anyway, that is just the nature of the beast when you're trying to record a podcast on the fly on your iPhone with your dad at Epcot. You are sometimes going to lose it, and I lost it today. So anyway, I will still be doing my show on Food and Wine Festival, but it won't be live, and hopefully I can remember everything. But we started out in Future World at the booths there, and there are many. There are 10 now in Future World, and I'll tell you all about what was good and what wasn't, because there were some flops and some really excellent things that were surprises to me on the show that I do on Food and Wine. But I did want to mention something that I forgot to say earlier, which is when we checked in here at All Star Movies, we were given an option to skip housekeeping for our stay. So we're staying here 3 nights, and they offered to, actually it was Taylor at the check-in, offered to have a $20 Disney gift card emailed to each of our accounts, because we're staying in separate rooms, to compensate us for not getting housekeeping each night. And that to us was fine, because we don't require that our beds be made and the room tidied. So we had $40 from that to spend at Food and Wine Festival today, which was wonderful, in addition to our snack credits, which we had been saving for the past few days. So we had 12 snack credits to use at Food and Wine as well. So we really spent nothing. I mean, I think I might have spent $6 out of pocket, but we were able to make all of that last the whole day. Food and Wine, so that was great. And we stayed for Illuminations. I used a fast pass to get us preferred viewing for Illuminations, and I wouldn't normally recommend that as a good fast pass, but we didn't have much interest in doing Frozen Ever After. Wait, is that the name of the ride? I'm sorry, I'm so tired. Yeah, in Norway, in Epcot. And we did Soarin' first thing, and we were able to do Test Track single rider. So I had a fast pass, and we got preferred viewing, which is awesome. The preferred viewing for Illuminations is awesome, but most people wouldn't want to use their Tier 1 Fast Pass on that, and they'd rather do one of those other attractions. So that was it. And then we bussed it back, and I'm ready to turn in for the night. So I am going to do one more day. So tomorrow night, watch for one more trip report. Hello again. This is day 4 of my September trip report, and I am sitting on our balcony at Animal Kingdom Lodge overlooking the savannah right now, and this is my hands down favorite resort at Walt Disney World. So we transferred here today from All Star Movies, where we'd stayed for 3 nights. My sister and dad and my sister's little one, they all flew home today. And my daughter and I are staying one more night here in Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I wanted to say a few things. First, I'm getting a cold, so if I sound stuffy, that's why. Number 2, I forgot to mention on yesterday's report that I did do the candy sushi class at Food and Wine Festival at Epcot yesterday. And I had mentioned it on the Budget Mouse Facebook group, and I did end up doing it, and it was so much fun. I can't believe it was free. It was a real treat. If you have kids and there's any availability left and you're going before the end of, end of Food and Wine is November 11th, close to Veterans Day weekend, I believe. Try and get in, because they will have a blast. I'm going to post pictures in the Facebook group, and I may do a blog post about it as well. So, and Kristen Tudis from Resale DVC, who you've heard on the podcast before, she was brave enough to be my first guest on this show. She joined my dad and I at Candy Sushi, and we all had a blast. So, now that I have that, I need to just kind of update you on this trip status, because there's been an interesting turn of events. So I am from North Carolina, from the kind of Raleigh area. And as you know, there is a hurricane that is, as they say in North Carolina, fixing to hit the state here in the next few days. So we were scheduled to fly back into Raleigh Wednesday night. That's tomorrow night. And I've just been thinking for the last few days, do I really want to do that? So it's a state of emergency in the state. Our county issued a state of emergency as well. It's just kind of chaotic there and a little bit scary. So, my work is Disney, and I can stay cheaply here. Obviously, I know how to do that. That's my whole thing. So I just talked with my husband yesterday at length about, should we come back as planned, or should we stay here until everything has settled down, the storm has passed, and we know it's safe and good to come back. And we both decided, after a lot of thinking and discussion, that we should just stay here at Disney World because I know I'll be safe. I know nothing traumatic will happen with my daughter, who's 5. And we decided to stay. So I know I have such a rough life when I get stranded here in Disney World. So we're doing that. And actually, we're supposed to fly back on Delta, and Delta issued a travel waiver for our flight. So I can either reschedule it or I can cancel and get all my money back because they expect the weather to cause either a cancellation or extreme delays of that flight. So that is the status now. I don't know when we're going back, but we are staying at least 3 more nights, and I found cheap rate at All Star Movies. So we're going back to All Star Movies tomorrow night to stay 3 more nights. I was looking at the last minute. So yesterday I was at Epcot trying to find a place for us to stay for at least 3 more nights. And that would get us through to Saturday, when we'll definitely know kind of how everything shook out with the hurricane. And I was able to get the best price on Priceline, actually. It was not a mystery hotel. It was just a discounted rate on Priceline. So I got the 3 nights at All Star Movies for $310 total for all 3 nights. So a totally manageable price. That is where we will be for 3 more nights. So it's an unexpected turn of events. With that said, we'll be here through Saturday, and I have no plans at all. So, I don't want to spend a lot more money, but I want to do something to kind of break up the days here. So I was considering going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party on Friday. So I haven't totally committed to that yet, but I am leaning in that direction. If I end up doing that, I will let you know. I'll do a bonus day hurricane edition of the podcast here from Walt Disney World. So anyway, as I said, we transferred to Animal Kingdom Lodge today. We Ubered over. I have a bunch of credits on Uber right now from some of you lovely readers and listeners using my link to sign up for Uber. So it cost $2.50 for us to get here with an Uber. And I tipped generously, of course. So we got over here. They are renovating the main pool at Jambo House. So Animal Kingdom Lodge is split up into 2 parts, Jambo House and Kidani Village. They're renovating this Jambo House pool, so the only pool that's open is Kidani Village. So my daughter and I, walked over to Kidani Village and spent about 4 to 5 hours at the pool there this afternoon. She made friends. They had a blast. It was great. We came back over. Now, we had an issue. When I got here, I checked in at the desk and just told them we were here. I picked up my dad's Magical Express sheet because he was going back today from here at Animal Kingdom Lodge. And they said they'd text me when the room was ready. They confirmed my phone number. Everything was set up to get the text. Well, we were waiting, and it was fine. She was playing at the pool, but at like 3, still hadn't gotten anything. And so I had to go up to the front desk anyway to mail a package back to my sister, who left some things here, and we were sending her a popcorn bucket. Oops. Uh-oh, Dave, if you're listening, you're getting a popcorn bucket. Surprise! So, and I said I hadn't gotten a text that my room was ready, and they said, oh, your room is ready. It's been ready since 11:30. And it says here that they sent a text. And I was like, I did not get it. I always get the room notifications when my room is ready. So anyway, I would say my advice would be, if you have checked in and you expect a text from a room and it's been several hours, it's fine to either stop by the front desk and just check on the status of the room, or call the front desk if you've gone somewhere else and see, because clearly their system is not working 100% of the time. So it would have been nice to get in the room about an hour before we did, but whatever, we finally got in. At Animal Kingdom Lodge, we're staying in a standard view studio villa. I rented DVC points for this stay. I got a pretty good price on the points, and so we paid $140 to stay here for just this night. It is a great price. at you need to go back and listen to show number. I don't know I'm on the fly, so I don't have the number of the show, but the best resort, in my opinion. It's not everyone's favorite, but it is hands down my favorite resort. So I requested a partial Savannah view, if possible, for the Standard View Studio, because even though it says that they will have pool view or parking lot view, many of the Standard View Studios also have a partial Savannah view, and so I requested that and we got it. And I think every time I've requested that, I have gotten it, because I don't think that many people know that. So we actually have almost a full Savannah view, and I'm going to post the video. I did a kind of walkthrough tour of our room. I'm going to put that in the Facebook group too. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I have a private Facebook group for the listeners of the podcast and readers of the blog. You just search for The Budget Mouse on Facebook, and you can ask to join, and I will add you to the group. So I will put pictures there. So we have a great Savannah view from our room. And let's see. Oh, there's one other thing I want to mention. We ate at the quick service restaurant, the Mara, for dinner, and afterwards we were walking out, and I noticed a sign up that said there was activities for kids at the old Simba's Clubhouse. So that used to be a child care center at Animal Kingdom Lodge, and they don't use it for child care anymore. The only child care now, I believe, is available at the Polynesian. I could be wrong, but there's only one place on Walt Disney World property where you can drop your kid off for the evening, and they'll provide child care while you go out. So we decided to check out the activities at the old Simba's Clubhouse. So we went over, and they had basically crafts set up and a whole range of crafts, and they did cost, and they also had free toys to play with and coloring pages and etc. But the craft, I let my daughter pick a craft to do because Grandpa Bill left her a little bit of spending money. It was very nice. And she wanted to do DIY Mickey ears. So they cost $8, which is such a bargain for an hour of her keeping her entertained for an hour, and she got Mickey ears to wear. And they had all the supplies there, and there were lovely cast members helping us. So Brittany helped her glue her stuff onto her ears, which were little black cat ears that she designed herself. And thank you, Brittany, for the help. And we might even see Brittany at the Halloween party on Friday. We're hoping to see her there. She'll recognize my daughter by her ears that she actually hot glued for her. So that was a great find. So I asked her how long it had been open, and she said, about a week. I was like, oh wow, so we really caught it brand new there. So I am going to share pictures of that on the blog and in the Facebook group as well, because it's brand new. It's a great low cost option for something fun to do with kids while you're staying at the lodge. And they had make your own bows, like design your own bows for $5. They had pop sockets. You could design your own pop socket for $3, and various other crafts. So great find at Animal Kingdom Lodge. So I expect to do one more hurricane version update of the podcast, and then I'll be good for this trip, and I'll let you know how everything turns out with the travel. So until next time. Hello again. This is my fifth and final report from my September trip to Walt Disney World. And I'm coming to you from All Star Movies again, where we moved to on Wednesday. So I believe the last I said we were contemplating staying longer due to the hurricane potentially striking our hometown in North Carolina. So I had to make the decision Tuesday to whether to stay or try to go back home Wednesday night. Delta offered a waiver on our flights to change them for free, and I was able to find last minute a room here at All Star Movies for very cheap, and I'll tell you how in a second. But my husband and I talked about it and decided, why risk it if I can stay here, essentially work, and get home safely as soon as the hurricane passes. So that's what we decided to do. So at first I booked 3 more nights at All Star Movies, and I went to my favorite sources for finding last-minute deals on Disney resorts, and I started with Priceline, and I started looking for mystery hotels that I could identify as Disney. And I've done a whole post on the blog, and excuse my voice, I meant to say, I've lost my voice partially due to a cold, of course, the Disney crud, and going to the Halloween party last night, which I'll talk about more in a second, but part of my voice. So anyway, I checked Priceline first, and though I didn't find any Disney hotels listed as mystery hotels, they did have just a special Priceline deal on a room at All Star Movies for $87 a night. And so I decided to book that for 3 nights because I knew we'd at least stay 3 more nights. So I got out for under $300 for 3 nights using Priceline. I did go and check to see if I could get a better price on my other go-to places, which is directly with Disney, because sometimes Disney's offers will be better than even the travel consolidator. So I checked with Disney, and there was actually no availability through Disney. And then I also checked through Orbitz, and it was slightly more. So I ended up booking with Priceline. And that was Orbitz, even with a promo code that is good on Disney resorts. So I booked with Priceline. Now, when we checked in on Wednesday, they had major trouble linking the reservation to my Disney account. And it had nothing to do with the fact that I booked on Priceline. It just had to do with my Disney account was messed up. And I knew that it was because I kept getting, anytime I go into my Disney Experience account, I would get a notification to my email that something had changed on my account. I was like, this is weird. Something's not right with it. Well, they couldn't get the reservation to link to our Magic Bands, and it took about an hour at check-in for them to try. And we were in a hurry, so it's fine to wait. And I believe it was Nicole was the cast member who helped us at check-in, and I told her I would mention she was wonderful and did everything she could to help. She had to call tech support and stay on hold until they were able to fix it. So, to make it right for us, she gave us 2 free quick service meals, and it was like on a little certificate, a coupon almost that I'd never seen before, but it was, to compensate for us for the hassle and time. It was quite a bit of hassle and time. They also ended up giving us 3 fast passes to use at Magic Kingdom on Friday last night. So it was really nice. I mean, I didn't really mind because I know how complicated it is, and I know sometimes things go wrong. Now, normally when I check in, everything goes right. So because I'm a frequent visitor, I understand. But if it was my first visit here and that happened to me, I would want compensated. I would definitely be frustrated and annoyed that it wasn't working right. So that was really nice. One other thing was that I opted out of daily housekeeping, and I believe I mentioned this on an earlier show. So before I get to that, let me say, we realized soon after I booked the 3 nights that the hurricane was still going to be in play on Saturday, and so I booked the flight to go home Monday night, which looked from the forecast at that point that it would be cleared out by now enough to fly safely home. And the hurricane did turn Wednesday and is now just skirting our house. So we are not getting a direct hit from the hurricane, whereas before it looked like we were going to. My husband did lose power yesterday, was without power all day and into the night until 2 a.m. So we lost everything in the fridge, and it was rough there for a while. But power's not back on now, but it looks like we'll probably lose it again. And it's just very windy and rainy and overcast there for the next 4 days, thanks to the hurricane. But everyone is safe, and there's no danger from flooding or anything. Anyway, that's a little update on the hurricane. So I realized we'd need to stay 2 more nights. So I went through the process again of looking for the best price on Priceline, Hotwire, Orbitz, and Disney World. And this time, the best price was on Orbitz. So for the last 2 nights, I booked on Orbitz. When I checked in, I had already made both reservations, and I asked Nicole if she could link them in the system. She did quickly and said, you will be able to stay in the same room. So we are again in the Toy Story section, in the preferred rooms, which are the newly refurbished rooms. And I posted pictures of them on the Facebook group for the Budget Mouse. You can just search for the Budget Mouse on Facebook and ask to join, and I or Sierra, who also administers a group, will add you. And now I have spent 6 nights in these rooms, and I can say that they are amazing. I love the refurbished rooms. They are almost identical to the rooms at Pop Century. Now, Pop Century has totally been refurbished. All the rooms are new there, and I was able to do a walk around at All Star Movies here and check which buildings are done, and 4 of the buildings are now done, and they are working on the 5th building. The buildings that are complete, if you're staying here in the next few months, are 7, 8, 9, and 10. 8, 9, and 10 are preferred locations, and 7 is a standard room. So there is still a chance, even if you're booked in a standard room, that you could get these refurbished rooms if you request it at check-in. And there's a whole post on the blog about how to make room requests. So you just need to go to the Budget Mouse and search for room request, and you should be able to find it, even though it is on the Frugal South, but I believe I've linked to it there. So when we checked in for our 5 nights here, I did ask that we opt out of room service, and that is called Service Your Way, and I'm going to do a blog post on it when I get home. I can't really do blog posts here on my phone, I discovered, so I have a lot of work waiting for me when I get home, which is great. It's fun work. But we did get a $40 gift card to use here at Disney World for opting out of daily housekeeping. Now, they will bring you anything you want. Like, I quickly ran out of coffee and creamers and Kleenex because of my cold, so they were able to bring by more supplies, and oh, it's loud, hold on. So sorry about that loud truck, and I had trouble turning the mic off. So they were able to bring by more supplies. So we got the supplies delivered the same day. And they do come and check the room every day and check on you to make sure you're okay. So we do get a knock on the room and just wanting to check in on us every day. But we aren't getting daily housekeeping, which is fine because I really don't need someone to make my bed. And I really did want the $40 gift card to eat on while we're here. So between the free quick service meals that we got and the $40 gift card, I'm probably not going to spend much on food because I'm able to stretch that so far. And I did get one additional grocery delivery from Instacart, which restocked us with all of our breakfast supplies. So I got more fruit, soy milk, granola bars, everything we eat in the room for breakfast. So, I mean, I paid a little bit more than I would at home, but really not that much more. So I do want to say one other thing we did, and that I will do a whole show on this, is I decided we needed one fun thing to do while we're here. We have no park tickets, so we were just going to be kind of hanging out at the resort. I did decide to take us to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party last night on Friday night. I was able to get the tickets at least a day in advance, and you save $10 off of the gate price when you do that. So for both of us to go, it was $162. You're able to check in at 4. In fact, they let us in a little bit before 4 o'clock yesterday to Magic Kingdom. And we had so much fun. I loved the Halloween party. I had never been before, and I liked it more than the Christmas party. We had a blast. I will say it was quite a bit of suffering though because it was so hot. I think the heat index here was 105 degrees yesterday. So in the afternoon and even until the night, it was so miserably hot outside. And, we were really tired. We both have a cold, and my daughter is 5, and I was like, is she going to be able to stay for this? I don't know. But she hung in there with minimal whining. She did really good. I just kept her distracted with, rides and candy and stuff. So I'll tell more about the party in a separate show, but I'm really glad we went. It was not that expensive for going to the Magic Kingdom for a day. We got 6.5 hours there in because we left right after the fireworks at 10:30. I love the party, so I can't wait to share more about it with you on a separate show about the party. So, trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about, how we saved money on this trip, on this emergency last-minute trip. Yeah, it's so easy to eat on the cheap here if you don't have a big appetite. So for us, a kid's meal is plenty for me. And the options, they've really improved the options for kids' meals. It's not just hot dogs, burgers, and french fries. They'll offer fish. We had beef nachos at Pick a Spill with a kid's meal last night. And sometimes the food is enough that my daughter and I can even share it because we're both pretty light eaters. So, kids' meals run $6 to $7 here. They come with a drink, 2 sides, and the entree. It's a generous portion, at least to me. So if not, then we're able to share an adult entree and we have our mugs from the first part of our stay, which was on the dining plan. So we have anything we want to drink is covered. I've got groceries for breakfast, and we're able to eat quick service meals on the cheap here. We're going to use our certificate today to eat somewhere with our free quick service meals. I'm looking forward to that. So this is going to be the last of my trip reports. So we're just kind of hanging around till Monday when we fly back home. Hopefully, I think it will be fine. And I'm going to compile these when I get back home and put them in one big show so you can listen to all of the goodness from this extended September trip to Walt Disney World. I'm back and wanted to share one more detail with you about our trip. So Sunday morning, we got locked out of our room. My Magic Band just stopped working. We had just come back from getting some breakfast. And I had a kind of manager in housekeeping. I went down and knocked on housekeeping's door. I saw them all go in there in the morning. They were in there. The manager came out and he let us into the room and he took our Magic Bands down to the front desk for us because I told him we'd already had trouble with the Magic Bands on that trip. He gave me his card and he said just to give him a call if an hour had passed. I told him we needed about an hour to get ready if an hour had passed and it wasn't resolved. So I called him. They were still working on them. I said, well, we're just going to come down to the front desk and get them when they're ready. We went down. He met us and a manager came out and apologized profusely for the problem. She said, this should never happen. There's just a major glitch with my Disney experience. And she said she would comp us for our last part of our stay. And I was like, what? Okay. So she said she'd put it on our kind of hotel account. And if we didn't spend it that day, then we could come to the desk and get it in cash before we left. So I attempted to make some charges to my room on my Magic Band. But guess what? It didn't work. So I went to the desk that night, the night before we checked out, and just asked for if I could have it in cash, the comp. And she gave me $183 in cash. I couldn't believe it. I mean, I think I paid about $200 for the stay on Orbit. So essentially, last 2 nights were free. So, I mean, that really helped kind of cushion the financial hit from staying the extra 5 nights due to the hurricane. And I mean, Disney made it right. Like, I know that they can see that I'm a frequent visitor, a repeat visitor, and I know they value repeat visitors so much. And I will say they will bend over backwards and do anything they can to keep you coming back. So I appreciate it, Disney. I'm coming back. I would have come back anyway, but I appreciate the $183 in cash. Thank you. So anyway, thank you so much for hanging with me through the long show. And if you like the show, if you can take a second to rate or review it in iTunes, that would help a lot. Even better, you can recommend it to a friend. You can always find me at thebudgetmouse.com. I'm also at thefrugalsouth.com. I'm on Instagram as The Budget Mouse. And the best thing to do is join our private Facebook group. Just search for The Budget Mouse and ask to join and I will add you. So thanks again for listening and have a magical day.